ROC, restore our community. ROC, restore our community. ROC, restore our community. ROC, restore our community.
Wanda P's on a mission to ROC, restore our community. Assuming the task, taking on the responsibility. One block at a time, one young mind at a time.
Hello and welcome to ROC. I'm Wanda P and this is Restore Our Communities. My very special guest today is Miss Kathy Hines. Kathy, how are you?
I am fabulous, Wanda. Thank you for inviting me.
Cool. Tell our viewing audience who you are and what is your purpose.
My name is Kathy Hines. I am the president of 10-0, which is TN-0. It is a corporation soon to become a nonprofit organization. It was developed between myself and State Representative Mike Sparks because we found that there was a critical need within the community because we found that there was a so-called legal drug called synthetic drugs that was running rapid through the community. And because Representative Sparks had a personal relationship with this because of his son being addicted to the drug, he asked me to help him get this product off the shelf. And because of my background in law enforcement, I told him I'd be more than happy to if he would just allow me to do it and just leave me alone.
Wow, this is deep.
Yes.
This is deep. It's very informative. You guys know that my show is always about informing you, FYI. Now, let's talk a little bit about that because I've heard here and there about the synthetic drugs. I know that one was called bath salt.
Bath salt, yes.
Let's talk about some of those synthetic drugs and what people claim, because I know is the bath salt similar to marijuana, and then people would say they can get the same effect, but it won't show up in a drug test.
Well, you're pretty much on target, and that's the thing why it's imperative to educate the community about what you have going on. The bath salts pretty much is just a commercial name that the manufacturers were using to avoid legal prosecution.
Okay.
It is a rock-based component. It could be crystallized once it's gone through the final process. It is the sister drug to crystal meth. This is my personal definition, and for most people in law enforcement who deal with narcotics or explosive products, this is what we have identified it to be. Because a lot of people are familiar with crystal meth product and how explosive it is because they've heard of meth locks, explosions.
Right.
But I believe it was Wednesday, July 25th, there was a synthetic drug explosion in a lab in someone's private home in Florida.
Wow. The
The person had a beautiful neighborhood, was producing the product in his garage, and it exploded, blew the garage completely apart.
Wow.
The garage door went across the street, and this mother who normally walks her child, let's say if it was at 1 o'clock, that was just her punctual time, but she said for some reason, and I call it the grace of God, that she wasn't on time with her walk, and she said that would have killed her and her child. But this product, it is very, very dangerous. We have discovered that it has a very, like I stated, a very explosive component to it.
Okay.
It is so dangerous when people are cooking it or you're taking it and rubbing it on your clothes. If you were to light a cigarette or strike a match, it would completely incinerate your clothes. And people, when it first came out, the identification of the product, a lot of people thought, oh, this is the bath salts that you get at Bed Bath & Beyond.
Right.
And I hate to shoot that company's name out there, but that was the association that people had. And with that, people were thinking, maybe I could try this. This is just how naive people can be.
Yeah.
They were taking the product and they were crushing it up, putting it in a crack pipe or melting it down, it's called freebasing it, put it in a spoon and using a lighter to heat it up and injecting the product. And they were going through all type of, physical ailments where they were basically, their system was shutting down. But they don't realize this product is totally, totally different. It's 500 times more powerful than crystal meth.
Wow.
That's just that one component, and when it's sold, marketed in the stores, it comes in like a small capsule such as Tylenol pain capsules, and in that capsule is a white powder or it could be a crystallized powder, but you don't know what you're getting because each batch is different.
Wow.
And people they put it in food, they've put it in drinks, they've, like I said, freebased it, they've smoked it, they've snorted it, they whatever, same thing somebody would do with crack cocaine or cocaine. This is what they would do. Now when it comes down to the synthetic marijuana, that's a totally different product.
Okay.
That is the K2. It's a synthetic marijuana. Initially, we had to discover that it was a white powder type chemical that was spread over an herb that people might have grown in the herb garden. It was called salvia, which it is illegal to grow salvia in the state of Tennessee or possess it. But that's what they were using. And kids predominantly always know what's going on. It's the parents and the teachers and administrators who had no idea what they were doing, what they were getting involved in, and they could go right on YouTube and learn how to produce this whole product, or even find out how to purchase the powder product from out of the country, because it's coming from China, it's coming from India, it's coming from other places.
Wow.
And it was readily shipped here where they could just order it and get it, and once you dry the salvia, then you add acetone, which is nothing but basic fingernail polish.
Fingernail polish, yeah.
Yeah, they would pour that on there, then put the powder product on there, and then that stuff would adhere to it, and they would package it up, they would smoke it, and that's when they would start having the hallucinogenic effects, where you have people thinking they're seeing the devil, or the police are chasing them, or so many times the same statements were reiterated. I saw the devil, I saw he was coming to get me, I'm going to die. And because they are going through a hallucinogenic state, they would kill themselves.
Wow.
So these products are very dangerous.
As the kids will say, OMG. And there were so many cool questions that I have. And I couldn't even remember it just even recently with the stars.
Oh, Johnny Lewis was one out in California. And they believe
Wasn't it Miley Cyrus was caught on YouTube smoking the synthetic K2?
K2.
And,
Wow.
and the things I heard why people would smoke that was because it would not show up in a drug test.
Yes.
But look at the side effects. You mean you actually, you don't know what you're smoking, but you talk about nail polish remover. They use that.
Yeah, and see, and that is one of the things which is so scary. One, when you have something that is just that powerful, and it's not anything that is hidden right now, it's been publicized. And unfortunately, I can talk to 5 people and 3 of them still won't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like I said, you've had this performer who was involved in using the product. Demi Moore also used the product and was rushed to the emergency room. This young man, Johnny Lewis from the show Sons of Anarchy, I don't watch television that much, but where he went through the behavior that is familiar with people who are on these particular types of drugs, the violent outbursts where he attacked this frail 81-year-old woman and killed her, and then he committed suicide. A lot of people, when I tell them, I said, let me give you some familiarity so you'll understand what we're talking about. The gentleman in Miami, Florida, where he sat there and attacked the guy, ate his face, and then was growling like a dog. And then another gentleman in I believe it was Waco, Texas, and I apologize if I have the wrong city, but I know it was Texas. This young man went on a rampage after smoking the synthetic marijuana, attacked family members or friends in the home, then attacked the family dog, choked the dog till it was unconscious, and took the dog on the front porch and proceeded to eat the dog while it was still alive. And these products, it had been so easy to get this stuff, especially here in Tennessee, because when I first came here 10 years ago, I was shocked. How could you walk into a gas station or mini mart, get something to eat, get gas, and then buy a crack pipe or a bong? And I'm like, how can you justify having this? So when I started talking to those in law enforcement, and some of them just basically, well, Kathy, those are just smoking implements. I go, that's obvious. Let's be ridiculous. I said, who in the heck is going to get some smoking tobacco, take it and put it in a bong that has a gas mask attached to it, and say, I just want that full menthol flavor? I said, that's ridiculous. But when people realized that it was considered a legal drug because it wasn't on the radar at all, they were using this drug, and when they did urine tests or tried to get a job and have to go through drug screening, it wasn't coming back. And that's predominantly because there had not been any field kits made up for this, because it was so new that when I talked to doctors who work in the medical field as far as the research and have been involved in medicine for many years, I would say, tell me, what do you know about this product? How is it affecting the heart? And they would say, Kathy, it's so new, we don't even know what it is. Wow. And that's scary. And these are and these are people who have been in the medical field for about 25 years. And I said, it scares me because you don't know who you can walk up on in the street, and you're thinking that they're just a little out of their mind, and then they attack you. So that's dangerous by itself.
Yes, it is. I was going to say, what is the adverse effect to that? Once a person has gone overboard, because you hear the saying that once you lose your mind, you can't get it back.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. So
Okay. Well, see, with this product, what we've discovered is the long-term effects are unknown. It could be permanent damage because with the synthetic marijuana, what they had discovered that when the usage had attacked the central nervous system, because basically what it does, it scrambles the circuits in the brain and it causes the body to react in a way, whereas what the body is naturally designed to do is to get rid of any impurities in the body. And when it can't recognize what it does, it shuts down as if a person's dying. Some people have admitted that they've lost control of their bowels, they've laid down, they've felt as though their whole body was numb. Some people said that they were vomiting, and if they hadn't had somebody close by to them, they would have died on their own vomit. And when it comes down to the bath salts, you have young people who are in comas in hospital right now. And what really bothered me, just a few weeks ago, I had a news reporter from the Tennessean who wanted so desperately to do a full-page ad on this product. And I tried so hard to find him families who their children or family members have been victimized by this drug. And they wouldn't come forward. And I'm like, do you realize?
They were ashamed.
You know, I can understand the shame, but it's like, what if it's another person in your family that does it? You can save somebody else's life. I mean, if it was my child, I would go above and beyond and say, please don't do this.
That's right.
You know, so there's a lot of things like this drug. It's straight poison. Just straight poison.
And this is what I was going to say, you know, just even, I remember when the epidemic of crack came out. When I would hear the stories and then the people that you hit it one time and you're going to be addicted. You know, marijuana was, you know, was people, I think everybody was smoking weed or whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
But when it comes down to all the synthetic stuff, and then, that's the key word right there, synthetic, it's not even real.
Yeah, but you know, it's unfortunate, but those who are involved in the drug world, be it the producers, manufacturers, the seller, or just the layperson trying to understand what it's all about, is the curiosity that gets to people. Because with the crack cocaine, when people are using that, you stated the euphoric effect that they get. But with people said this synthetic drug, it gives them the high that they have been looking for. It takes them to the next level. And when I've talked to former drug addicts, I asked them, tell me, just really, why would you put something like that in your system? And they basically said, I didn't care. All I want to do was get high. And with our current economic downturn, this is not an unusual trend where people will look for an out to get away from their current state of depression or anything like that, and they look for drugs or alcohol. But now when you have something like this, where with crystal meth, you can use meth and it's in your system for 7 hours. And then your high's gone, you gotta go get something else. Crack cocaine, pretty much the same effect. But when it's come down to the synthetic marijuana, it can stay, synthetic bath salts or K2. The thing of it is, these people have stated this has been in their system for 7 days. It may have been there for a month. You know, the symptoms may dissipate where you don't see anything, the person seems normal, then all of a sudden they have a relapse. It's a psychosis.
From that one hit? From
that one use. We've had where 12-year-old boys in Florida for the very first time have used synthetic marijuana and died. You had kids here the early part of this year and the latter part of 2011, where these young men had full-blown heart attacks, and they were only 12 and 13 years old.
Whoa.
This is what I'm saying. This stuff is wild, and I can't talk about it enough.
Let's give your phone number and address, so if anyone wants to be a part of what you're talking about or want to know more about it, they can contact you.
Absolutely. You can contact me at area code 615-424-6248. Again, that's 615-424-6248, or you can go to our website at www.tnzero.com, all lowercase, and you will find the information email where you can go ahead and contact me, and we will come out and speak to your school, your church, your workplace, whatever you need. Like I said, Bert, now we're a corporation, and I'm looking to become a nonprofit, and for the first year or so, I haven't charged anybody. I will never charge anybody in law enforcement or the emergency response, because those are my colleagues. Right. But I do have to have people understand, I do this from the bottom of my heart. I do it all out of my pocket. So I just say I have to have funding as far as just doing with gas or printing up literature. But outside of that, it pretty much doesn't cost anybody anything, because it's like when I hear people say, I don't have a Bible because I couldn't afford it. I'm like, the Word of God is always free. And God says that, you know, a person perished because of lack of knowledge. We have to, as Christians, stand up and say enough is enough. I can't emphasize that enough. When are we going to say as a community, we don't want anything that's going to destroy our children, our future, in our community? We have to get rid of it, and I appreciate you for having me here today.
Oh, no problem, because I'm just sitting back here thinking, and everybody's different. I get a little passionate about, we talk about abuse and things of that nature, and I'm real passionate about that because I grew up, you know, my mom, grandfather, people in my neighborhood, you know, abusing, you know, the women. And so I was just passionate about certain things. And when I think about who would want, and obviously there are people around here, would want to be out of their mind. I took Dimetap or some medicine with antihistamine in it, and I'm high for 2 days. So imagine being high for 7 days. You know, I can only imagine being out of, you can't even be productive in any kind of way.
Well, that's true.
And everybody has a purpose, and how could you fulfill your purpose if you're, you know, out of it?
Well, for me, and I'm sure you understand this too, because you are a devout Christian as well, the enemy comes in all many different ways, disguises, and they use anything they can to destroy our future, to destroy our relationship with God. But when we have to stay prayed up, not only just as those involving our family, but those in the community, it's called intercessory prayer. We have to stand strong and say, you know, I want to pray that we have wellness in our community. But unfortunately, the drug world has been around for so long. And with the synthetic drug situation, this was here in the state of Tennessee for at least 3 or 4 years, you know, before it even came, you know, into our awareness circle. And this product was originated over in Europe, where it got so out of control, they completely banned it, when you can't sell it anywhere. But unfortunately, it's still coming through the system. The drug world, this product, here in the city of Nashville, a few months back, and I commend the narcotics unit here with Nashville PD, they raided 11 stores. And there were a number of those stores that were making $1 million a month selling this product.
What?
And you know, and it's, yes.
They were big, they were bigger than the dope dealers.
Oh yes, and I mean, you can make millions of dollars doing this. And this is what I'm saying, it was a legal product. They sat there and made a mockery of the court systems and the police department by saying, hey, you can't prosecute me. I'm selling incense, I'm selling bath salt, I'm selling Molly's plant food. And it's like, okay, why doesn't Lowe's or Home Depot sell Molly's plant food? Because as any plant food will have on there the little skull and crossbones saying poison, do not ingest, if so call the poison center. These packets have nothing on them.
No regulations.
Nothing whatsoever, and always stipulate not for human consumption. But it's just, you know, come on.
Who's going to read that? You know, fine print.
And you know, and the product was easily sold anywhere from $6 a pack to $55 a pack for one small usage. You know, anywhere from 4 ounces to 5 milligrams of a pill product, and people, they would do anything to get it. You had it where Representative Sparks told me how his son was trading GPS systems and gaming systems, or even this one store owner was holding his driver's license in lieu of starting a line of credit so that he can keep coming in and getting this high. And thanks to the grace of God, Mike's a praying man and his son's in rehab. I think he just got out. But it's just the fact that this is what we have everywhere. It's not a problem just for the inner city of the people who are in poverty. This is everywhere. Brentwood, Beverly Hills, California. I mean, you name it, it's everywhere. I'm really, really ecstatic that in the month of July, July 14th, President Obama signed the federal law to make it a permanent federal law, because we had a temporary one that was going to expire in a few months, but he signed it into law where we could go after the big cartellers, and that is the ones who are doing the actual shipment of this product. And on July 26th, they had a news briefing at the DEA Museum in Washington, D.C. And I wish I could have been there, but I was in training. And this had to do with Operation Logjam. This is why I talk about why it's so imperative for everybody, especially law enforcement, to work together, because you can't do it by yourself. This project, it involved DEA, ATF, FBI. It had the Attorney General, not Attorney General, I apologize, the IRS. It had the postal inspectors, Customs and Border Patrol. And what they did, they went across the United States and raided 19 cities. Now listen, 19 cities. Out of 19 cities, and normally I'm so well versed on this, I have to look at this sometimes. They had over 19 million packets of the synthetic drugs recovered. They recovered at least $36 million in cash.
Whoa.
And they also arrested 90 people. This is just 19 cities. And when people are like, well, you know, that's pretty big. I go, no, it's small.
That's because I thought it was big, so that's
yeah,
small.
Yeah, I mean, you just think about here in one state and you go to 19 cities and you pull that up, and I'm like, you got 95 counties. Let's say you just did 19 counties. You still got the rest of those to deal with. And with this is why when I train law enforcement, I said it's so imperative for you guys to work together. Here you have the IRS to deal with the money laundering aspect of it. You have the postal inspectors to deal with the shipment part of it. Customs and Border Patrol deal with the surrounding coastal borders where this product is being shipped in. Then you have the other federal law enforcement agencies that have to work with local jurisdictions. They all have to work together. And I just want people to understand, you may think that because I don't see it in the store, it is no longer around. That's when it becomes even more dangerous because they can
now you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I've had information come from the Capitol telling me how now store owners are hiding these products in the ATM machine. It'll be hidden in a trap door somewhere. You have to have the right code word, the right body language, or you have to be a regular.
So it's illegal, just like regular illegal drugs.
Yeah,
it
is. But you know, because I was happy that I was able to go to the Capitol and speak with senators and state representatives, and even met the governor. I was really pleased to do that. Where I told them, I said, do you understand the significance of why we have to jump on board and make it a felony here in the state of Tennessee? Because most of last year up till August, all we had was a misdemeanor, which had like a $75 fine. Now, a person making $1 million a month, what's $75 to them? That's like 75. It ain't even that. You know, and I mean, it's sad, but this is what we came up against. And some people said, that's just stupid. I said, but we had something as opposed to nothing.
Exactly.
So, I mean, God placed it on me. You know, I know I can talk and ramble all day long, but God gave me a mouth to speak and to be a voice for everybody. So when I said, okay, look, this is what we're going to have to do. Let's research other states who have felonies and see how active they have been and find out what things weren't working for them. And when I researched, and the one state that I was most impressed with was the state of Alabama. Their felony law that have covered the aspects of if you're manufacturing, selling it, or even selling it to a child, you have to pay a $65,000 fine and you have 99 years in jail. Whoa! And I said, I want Tennessee to have this. Well, they looked at some things, and the other critical point was you have to make a blanket law because, as I stated, each product, each packet is different. They changed the molecular structure on the product. So if we made JWH illegal today, they'll make JW1 legal tomorrow. And I said, you have to think like they do. So once they made that a blanket one, we have an outstanding law. We are covered. So I'm really proud of the state of Tennessee for taking the bull by the horn and running it. And I said, but now I need more active involvement with people in the community.
Is there a statistic of the people who have actually died in the state of Tennessee on that?
No, that's the other thing that is so sad. Because it has been so rampant with the involvement with this product, they have not been able to track it because I have been looking for statistics on this. Tennessee has a wonderful poison center that is run out of Vanderbilt University. They went from having, I would say, about 36 calls in 2010 to in 1 month having over 300 calls in 2011. And then for the whole year 2011, they had just over 5,600 calls. And just recently I found out, you know, I can't divulge names because of the privacy, but you've had people who just recently lost family members, lost young children to this, and the parents had no idea. No idea.
And that's why this is so important. I know real quick, the magazines, you were telling me the story. What's the story behind these magazines?
These magazines, I am just amazed by them. I worked as a CASA for Rutherford County for about a year or so, and when I started getting involved in, you know, the drug awareness activity groups, I said, let me go and see if they have any books that would speak on things to help kids. And when I went to the Rutherford County Juvenile Courthouse in their supply room, they said, would you like to have these books? And I said, sure. And I started looking through, I'm like, why is this sitting here? They were like,
and they're very much intact.
They are, and those are old
and
books.
They look old.
You know, and the thing about it, in one of those books, they have information about synthetic drugs in there. And I said,
Whoa.
we just really got on the bandwagon in 2011, but some of these books were written in 2007.
Wow.
And they have that information. And one other drug that I want people to be aware of, and it's really crazy, if you remember the drug, the candy Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is one thing about these manufacturers do. They
The
manufacture
sizzle in your mouth, right?
Yeah. And what they look at is things that's going to catch the eyes of children or young people. So with the Pop Rock candy type of copying, what they did, they made a drug called Strawberry Quake. And what it is, it looks like pink wet sugar. All of this is straight crystal meth with pink food coloring.
No.
And in some states, they had it where these drug dealers are going out and handing these things to kids, to try to kids and dropping on the ground like that. And that product is in those books. And I said, parents need to know about it. So when I go out, I
The tattoos too. Remember the tattoos?
Oh yeah. Oh honey, that's still very popular.
With the LSD in it or something.
And some people think that the synthetic drugs mimic LSD, but it's far worse than that. Far worse than that. So, like I say, there's so much information that's out there, but there's really no hands-on pamphlets for synthetic drugs. I really like to work on that. You know, as if anybody wants to volunteer their time, their material, to get with me and say, hey, let's work on a pamphlet, let's work on a booklet, because I've even tried to do a documentary, but it's like
It's done.
Hey, well,
It's already done.
Well, hey,
God.
well, I tell you, because I had a young lady in Chicago. She came here, did some filming, but it's like nobody wants to fund us.
It's my hometown, Chicago.
Well, hey,
Well,
hello, little sister. Well, hello.
Yes.
So no, we're
Oh,
going
God.
to do this. Well, God bless you.
Yes. Well, you know what? This is definitely going to happen. And one of the other things that we do here at Fox Studio, we just offer, we can open this place up and do a fundraiser and have people coming in and we can talk more about that. You can invite some people, we'll invite people. I know other people who will invite people.
Beautiful.
And they will come out and they can talk about this and make it aware. Make
Please,
people, and God bless, I'm always talking to somebody about starting your own TV show here.
Okay. Oh wow.
Start your, I'm telling you, and you will be amazed
Oh,
at the
wow.
support that you will get. Yes, ma'am.
Well, praise God, because
Yes,
I have been on my face in travail. I said, God, you put this on me, and I said, I'm going to run the race like, you know, it's the best race of my life. But I said, God, whatever you have for me, even during the moments of like, Kathy, this isn't going nowhere. And I said, but God
that's the
doesn't,
enemy.
you know, God doesn't bring you to the door and drop you off at the threshold and say, you shall not enter. He's just like, you know, I will bless you and you will be fruitful. Because whatever God says manifests. It comes back full. It never comes back void. So I thank you, Wanda.
And not only that, I can remember one of the quotes that my bishop has mentioned. He said, if it's God's will, if it's God's bill.
Amen. You know what? Amen to that. That is so true. So
And
true.
I'm telling you, we're running out of time, but I just want to thank you, my sister, because we're definitely going to have you come back here and you'll hear more about Miss Kathy Hines. Remember that God loves you. And
All
so
the thank yous and all the hallelujah. Magnify the Lord. Magnify the Lord with me. Worship service has officially started. Give God a hand clap of praise.
You're not on the prayer call. You are definitely missing out. We don't want you to miss this prayer call, as the power of God will be on it like never before. We are in the midst of 40 days of a turnaround, 40-day fast.
You got rats. I'm going to help somebody. But when your cheese run out, so do the rats. Am I talking to anybody up?